Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. Calm seas never made a good sailor. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I ask you to judge me by the enemies I have made. The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. Above all, try something. Let us move forward with strong and active faith. Do the best you can do and wait the results in peace. Never before have we had so little time in which to do so much. Rules are not necessarily sacred. Principles are. To reach a port, we must sail. Sail, not tie at anchor. Sail, not drift. Self-interest is the enemy of all true affection. The first 12 years are the hardest. Do something. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't, do something else. Peace, like charity, begins at home. We may make mistakes, but they must never be mistakes which result from faintness of heart or abandonment of moral principle. It is a terrible thing to look over your shoulder when you are trying to lead and find no one there. Art is not a treasure in the past or an importation from another land, but part of the present life of all living and creating peoples. I'm not the smartest fellow in the world, but I can sure pick smart colleagues. The ablest man I've ever met is the man you think you are. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still. Repetition does not transform a lie into a truth. The virtues are lost in self-interest as rivers are lost in the sea. I have loved to the point of madness that which is called madness, that which to me is the only sensible way to love. Happiness is not merely money, which is fun for effort and achievement. Inquisitiveness is the most useful talent. They fight not for the lust of conquest. They fight to end conquest. They fight to liberate. Change is like fire. If uncontrolled, it will consume us. Eternal truths will be neither true nor eternal unless they have fresh meaning for every new social situation. Remember, you are just an extra in everyone else's play. The motto of war is, let the strong survive, let the weak die. The motto of peace is, let the strong help the weak to survive. If you have spent 2 years in bed trying to wiggle your big toe, everything else seems easy. Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. It is common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something. Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds. No man can tame a tiger into a kitten by stroking it. The real safeguard of democracy is education. Never underestimate a man who overestimates himself. I think we consider too much the good luck of the early bird, not enough the bad luck of the early worm. In the truest sense, freedom cannot be bestowed. It must be achieved. It isn't sufficient just to want. You've got to ask yourself what you are going to do to get the things you want. The value of love will always be stronger than the value of hate. People acting together as a group can accomplish things which no individual acting alone could ever hope to bring about. Remember always that all of us, and you and I especially, are descended from immigrants and revolutionists. Man and nature must work hand in hand. The throwing out of balance of the resources of nature throws out of balance also the lives of men. Freedom of speech is no use to a man who has nothing to say, and freedom of worship is of no use to a man who has lost his God. If you hold your fire until you see the whites of his eyes, you will never know what hit you. A conservative is a man with two perfectly good legs who, however, has never learned how to walk forward. Great power involves great responsibility. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Let us move forward with strong and active faith. Be sincere, be brief, be seated. We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon. The barrier to success is not something which exists in the real world. It is composed purely and simply of doubts about ability.